Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, January 21st, 2021, and we are in the final hour of the trading day. The final hour of the trading day is my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades because during the day, algorithms, day traders, they are in control of the price. I consider it mainly noise. At the last hour, and in particular in the last few minutes, the large financial institutions come in. They take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms because they're trading so much size. They have very smart people, best information, best technology. And in my opinion, following what the large financial institutions are doing, or basically making your buying and selling decisions based upon what the end of the day levels are, is a long-term edge in trading, in my humble opinion. So thank you all for coming today. It's always nice to see everybody. I hope you're doing well. I hope your trades are going well. I hope life is good. And I appreciate you coming here and investing your time. And I hope it is paying off for you as far as learning about trading and investing. So currently, the Dow is up 39 points. It's up 0.13%. The NASDAQ is up 87 points, up 0.65%. And the S&P is up 7.4, up 0.19%. So I'm a little under the weather today, actually probably a little bit more than a little. So bear with me, tread lightly. I do my best to get through here today. So here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we are going to come back. We're going to take a look at my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have one little day trade today. I didn't have enough energy to day trade, but I did see it and I was like, I'll get up off the couch and I'll take the trade. And it was a good one, and I'll share that with you. After that, we're going to go through your positions that are up on the board. I'm looking at them right now and I see a lot of green, so that's fantastic. So we'll check those out. We'll see how those are doing. After that, we'll talk a little bit about trader psychology, maybe just some good trading words of wisdom, just things that will help you, hopefully help you in your trading in different areas. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal's scanner. And I do have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a new trade. First requirement, I need to find a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up, such as rejections of ATR channels, V1, V2 entries, close under, close over, or rejections of moving averages, right? I want to see as many of those confluences or combinations, ideally on multiple time frames. Requirement number 2, I want to make sure that I have a good risk to reward ratio. It's extremely important that you have a good risk to reward ratio. That way you can win a smaller percentage than what you lose, but still make money because you're making more when you win than when you are losing. So based upon support below you, based upon likely resistance above you, that's how I kind of calibrate and look at the risk to reward. It's all hypothetical, theoretical, but you do the best you can, right? And then number 3, it's always important, please, every day, look before you take a trade, make sure you ask yourself, do I really need this trade? Do I already have positions that are correlated in this industry? How much account heat do I have? In other words, how much of my total capital do I have at risk? These are things you should really, really ask yourself. This was something taught by Linda Raschke, who's a very, very famous trader, and I respect what she says a lot, but she says, before I take any trade, I always ask myself, do I really need this trade? Do I have correlated positions? All the things I just talked about, all right? So if using those criteria, I'm going to go down through the candidates, and I do have some candidates, end-of-day candidates today to look at. I will use those 3 criteria, and if I find something at the end of the day that looks good, makes sense, I will go ahead and buy it right before the market closes. After the market closes, if you have any questions for me, please just ask me. I'll do my very best to help clarify it for you. If you have any stock symbols that you would like me to take a look at and get my opinion on before the market closes, I'm very happy to do that. Put them in the chat. I'll do my very best to get to them. And last but not least, if you have any new entries or exits today that are up on the board that you would like me to update, if you could please wait till the end of the day before you tell me what they are. That way the market's closed, I'm done trading, I'm done teaching, and the pressure's off, and we'll spend as much time as we need to get those all updated correctly. Okay? Okay, I'm running on about half my cylinders today, so just so you know, I'm going to do my best, but I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who is here today. Leva is here, as always. Good to see you, Leva. Hope you're doing well. Steve Burns, good to see you, my friend. Always an honor to have you here. I mean that. I say it every day, but I sincerely mean it, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. Steve's having some good having some good trades today, and we'll go over that once we go over current positions that are up on the board. Quad says, happy thrifty trading Thursday, everyone. Oh, I did not know it was happy thrifty trading Thursday. That is good to know. Good to see you, bud. Hey, Kamal, good to see you. Good chatting with you today. Kamal and I chat during the day and take a look at trades, analyze things. So appreciate that. Appreciate your friendship, Kamal. Johan is here. Good to see you, Johan. Hope you're having a good evening in Hong Kong. Leva said MLCO went above 30 RSI yesterday. If it closes above the 200, it would also be a V2 and a good deep dip buy, correct? Let's take a look. MLCO. If it closes above the 200 day, it would be a V2. No, the V2 happened yesterday right here. I don't think I would go chasing this at this point. There's a lot of distance between here and here. The 200 day is above it as resistance. I know you did mention that, you know, if it closed above the 200, but it's a bit of a big move from here to here. Went under 30, over 30, but now we're at a 38.96 RSI. So your stop loss under 30 would be way down here. I mean, if I really wanted to get in this, I would wait for a nice strong close above that 200 and the 250. That is how I would approach it, but not a V2. Gary says, hello, Greg and group. Hello, Gary. Jatin says, hello, good afternoon, Greg, sir. Good afternoon, Jatin, sir. Johnson says, hi, everyone. Hi, Greg. Hey, Johnson. Good to see you, buddy. Jackson says, was very confident on Apple yesterday. Didn't disappoint, though. Yes, Apple is up nicely. Dan says, hi, Greg. I hope you get better soon. Thanks, buddy. I hope I get better soon as well. David says, hi, Gregorian traders. Hello, Dave. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope the shoulder's well. Frank is here. Hello, Greg and group. Hello, Frank. Good to see you, my friend. Always great to see Frank. So, all right. Well, I guess we should get to it. Apple. All right. So, Gary and Jatin and myself, I took a half position, and also Frank, all the way down here at 111, are in the trades. Jatin's and Frank's are from a while ago. Gary and I are in the trade that happened yesterday, the 520 cross. I bought at 132.11. I did hit 2 profit targets. That third profit target is within reach here. 137.04. It's a 62.97 RSI. It is up 3.51% today. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this off today. The RSI readings on the indexes are just under 70 or above 70. It could keep going up. There's no doubt about it, but a nice 3.5% on one day. And we have this high over here. I don't like this big bar. We're right at about halfway now of this big bar. So I'm just going to look for, I am going to take this off and be happy with the 3.5% move in one day. And I'm going to take this off and look for a better risk reward. So congratulations, Gary and Jatson and Frank and myself on a nice big day on Apple. Coca-Cola. I think I'm the only one in Coke. Yeah. All right. So I did buy Coca-Cola back on the 19th of January. I bought it here with the bounce at the 200-day and an under 30 over 30. I bought it at 48.52. It's currently 48.98. It's up 0.6% today. Very, very close to one profit target. I think I came with about 3 cents from the profit target. So I'm just going to hold on to that. If it triggers, it triggers. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I like that we also went under the negative third Keltner channel and over. Would be nice to hit that profit target. But so far up on the trade, good confluence of signals there. SPY. Here I have Yas, Johnson, and Jatson, and myself. Don't know if you guys are still in, but overnight SPY trade. I did take the overnight SPY trade yesterday, 383.89. I sold it at the open today at 384.50. So 3 nice days in a row. Bought the close, sold the open, bought the open, bought the close, sold the open, bought the close, sold the open. By the way, 2 big gaps here unfilled. That's always a little bit of a concern of mine. But anyway, overnight SPY trade's doing great. I will buy this again at the close. USO. All right. The longer term trade, I entered it on the monthly bars. I bought it here 30.97. It's up about 13.5% from entry. I bought it on the monthly bars. Whoa. And I use the same setups regardless of the time frame. We went under 30, over 30, under the negative third, over the negative third, and a V2. And it's worked out really, really nice. No profit targets yet, but like I said, it's up like 13.5%. Verizon. All right. Quad, Gary, Yas, and myself. I did buy half a position yesterday because I also bought Apple. Up so far, not a lot, up 6 cents, up 10 cents. I bought it yesterday at 53.77. It's currently 57.33. It's at 57.33. So it's exactly even on the trade, but it is holding the 200-day moving average, which is important. I like how the 200-day moving average dovetails right with halfway of the big up bar yesterday. So there should be some solid support here. Earnings are coming up. I will sell before earnings regardless of what happens, even if it's way up here. But right now my stop is the 200-day moving average and totally break even on that trade. Alibaba. All right, we have Johnson in Alibaba at 235.20. It's 259.97. It is down 2.08% today, but he's up on the trade, just a little down on the day. I am also in Alibaba in a put position. I did sell puts, which is a bullish position, down to $130. So as long as the price stays above $130 by June 18th, I will be able to collect all the premium. I already have collected just shy of 50% of the premium. So that's good. And then Facebook. All right, this was a trade a bunch of us took back here. Nice confluence of signals, under 30, over 30, under the negative third, over the negative third, under the 200, over the 200. We bought here at 251.61. Had 2 big strong days. I sold yesterday and locked in profits. Steve also locked in profits here. We have Johnson, Yas, Morgs, Pat, Jatson, and Timothy is in at 256, up another 1.86% today. And the reason that I locked in profits is because I also have a bullish put position on Facebook $180 puts. So as long as the price stays above 180 by June 16th, I would be able to keep all the premium. And this one is close to 50% of the premium already, just in like a week, compared to holding for 6 months. So anyway, doing really well. Congratulations, Johnson, Yas, Morgs, Pat, Jatton, and Timothy. Very nice. I would closely be watching this 50-day moving average here. It'd be great if we could close back above. And then one little day trade I had today, but it's a good one. It's a good teaching one also. And let me take you back to here. This is on the 5-minute. What caught my eye was this. Here we have a bottom. Here we have a bottom. You can see that the MACD on this first leg down, very deep red bars. Second move down was equal to or lower, actually lower, but the red bars were not as deep. This is called the double bottom with a bullish divergence. Just because you have one of those doesn't mean you can enter the trade. You have to wait for a signal, and my signal was right here. This little washout of the range and the V1. I got in at 16.24, took right off, which is always good. If you buy something it takes right off, then you probably got in a pretty decent place. So I bought here at 16.24. Had a big up bar here. I sold part at 16.32. Then we had a close below the previous day's low. I got out at 16.29. So I sold a half, sold a half. Had a nice run up here, big bar that rejected the 70 RSI. I sold at 16.45. Then it kept on going, and then when we finally had a close below the previous day's low, I got out. So good trade. In at 16.24, out at 16.29, out at 16.32, out at 16.45, and out at 16.46. Okay. So nice screen day all around. Very grateful for that. Let me get rid of my trades here. Okay. Now, Quad and Pat and Gary bought here at 1667. Had a big move up the next day. All three sold half because it rejected the 50 RSI, which was a good move because it has come back down since there. But I still have Quad, Pat, and Gary in the trade. So I hope that's all correct. Morgs is here. Good to see you, Morgs. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Morgs is out of Facebook. Yeah. That was on my mind yesterday, too, because you had mentioned something about Facebook, but I wasn't 100% sure that you were still in. So thank you for letting me know that. Frank has a poem for us. Let's see. This will be good. They always are. Okay. A loss is a gain's evil twin. A loss is a gain's evil twin. And to let them add up is a trading sin. Don't let the small ones get under your skin, because with learning in time, you're going to win. Oh, that's so good. A loss is a gain's evil twin. And to let them add up is a trading sin. Letting losses add up is a trading sin, 100%. Don't let the small ones get under your skin, because with learning in time, you're going to win. That's right. Don't let the small losses get under your skin. First loss is the easiest, everybody. No doubt about it. Boy, if I could have taken some small loss on some of the positions I had back in the 90s, holy smokes. Wasn't happy at the moment, but I would have been very happy if I would have done that, I can assure you. Okay, let me check here. What's going on there and what's going on there. Okay. Oh, Apple making a new high, getting close to my profit target. Come on now, you can do it. You can do it. Kamal says, good one, Frank. Gary says, Frank, well said, 100%. Excellent. Just excellent. All right, let's take a look at your positions here. All right, so Johnson did short yesterday. It was his first short, over 70, under 70, V1. Kind of like we talked about yesterday. It did go down some earlier today and then it reversed. So it looks like Johnson's a little out of the money on this one. I was looking at this one earlier today and I wanted to show you a really good example if I could find it. Let's see. Here's the example right here. Yesterday I was talking about the best shorts are from a lower high. We'll see here how we have a higher high. See how we rally into the value zone? Well, buyers come in, buy that dip. Then we went up, Johnson. We made a lower high. See how this is lower than this? And we had a V1 to the downside. And look at that beautiful short trade. So again, in my opinion, the best time to short are from lower highs, not from a higher high that has a big move down, because generally that first one is bought. The Qs. All right, we have Frank in from 284.60. It's currently 326.65, up 0.89% today. Has not been able to get above the 70 RSI, but just a fantastic trade for Frank. Congratulations, my friend. Sometimes those trailers do really come in handy, don't they? And it looks like Frank is currently up 12.9%. Excellent. Paycom. Kamal did buy Paycom yesterday at $3.99. It's currently $405.34. It is down a little bit on the day, but Kamal is still nicely up on the trade. DKNG, Kamal bought intraday today at $54 even. It's $53.74. So he is slightly down on that intraday trade. SOLY, Ramble Ron bought SOLY at $9. It's $9.73. It's down 4% today, but he is still nicely up on the trade. Twitter, Yas Johan bought Twitter at $45.90. It is currently $47.11. Nice buyback there a couple days ago. Down a little bit today, but still nicely up on the trade. CRM. Frank and Kamal and Gary bought CRM at $216.80. It's $222.57. It's down a little bit today. Gary sold half yesterday on that strength. Frank has a quarter position, and I think Kamal has a full position. So everybody's up on that trade, which is nice. HYLN. All right, Bob bought HYLN at $15.77. It's $17.71. It's up 6.43% just today. And Bob is up on this trade almost 11%. Bob has had some amazing trades lately. Congratulations, Bob. Steve, great trade on with Steve with the 1030 EMA crossover. Steve bought it yesterday at $536.95. It is $549.22. It's up 2.76% today. Excellent, excellent trade. It looks like making a new high on the day. Pfizer. Yas bought Pfizer a couple days ago at $36.75. It's $36.42, so it is a little bit down on the day. It did bounce off this 200-day moving average. It also rejected this previous low over here, went below it, came back up. This is one that I'm looking at for an end of the day trade. Tesla. Jatson bought Tesla at $639.90. It's currently $846.19. It is down a little bit today. Jatson sold half of this position way up here, but this trade is up almost 25%. So congratulations to Jatson. Fastly having a big day. Johnson and Johan bought Fastly at $86.80. It's up 6.68% today alone. And from entry to current price up 16.34%, which is fantastic. Shopify. Oh, Kamal, I'm glad to see this. Last time I looked at it, it was down, and it could go positive on the day, hopefully. Kamal bought Shopify at 1160. It's 1200, so he's up $40.15 on the trade. Congratulations, Kamal. PLTR. David bought PLTR at 2406. It's currently 2602. It is down a little bit today, but he is up on the trade. Net. Johan bought net at 81.30. It's 83.49. Down a couple pennies on the day, but still nicely up on the trade. AMC. Now let's see. This is Bob. So Bob sold 2/3 of it, but he bought this all the way back at $2.10. It's $2.97. That's not what I wanted. Bob is up almost 30% on this trade. Bob has had some fantastic trades. Congratulations. Google. All right, this is Gary. Gary sold credit spreads on Google to 1640, 1630. So within 8 days, if it closes above 1640, Gary keeps all the money for his bullish credit spreads. It's 1900. So, you know, we won't want to tempt fate, but it's looking pretty good for Gary. Although this is a bit of a reversey bar here, I just noticed. Teladoc. Frank bought Teladoc all the way back here at, I think he bought it lower than that. He did. 182. It's 243.87. Down just a smidge today, but up over 25% on this trade. Congratulations, Frank. Eli Lilly. Yas and Gary bought Eli Lilly with this return to value V1 at 166.14. It's currently 203. It's up again today. Gary is out of 3/4. He scaled out. Currently up 18% on this trade. ITB. Okay, Jatin bought ITB at 58.01. Had a big day up yesterday. Sold half. I still think that's a good idea. And it's up another 1.75%. So excellent, excellent trade. Jatin up 5.87%. NIO. Frank bought it at 46.16. Bought it 46.16. Gary bought it at 58. And Gary sold calls 58.50 expiring Friday. I think this one's old. Nonetheless, Frank is up nicely on the trade, and Gary is now up on the trade as well. ZM. Johan and Johnson bought ZM at 356.90. It's 380.65. It is down a little bit today, but they are both nicely up on the trade. Fiverr. Jatin bought Fiverr at 230. It's 244.27. It's up 2.91% today. So Jatin sold 3/4. He has a quarter left, but he's definitely up on the trade. INAQ. Frank bought INAQ at 15 even. It's 1660. It's down 5.52% today. Wow, that's a big move for that little bar, huh? But Frank is still up on the trade, which is what's important. UGL. Steve Burns bought UGL based upon the gap and go on GLD. He bought at 65.52. It's currently 65.32, so down just 20 cents on the trade so far. ALGN. All the way back here. Jatin bought ALGN at 441. He sold part at 521.90. He sold another part at 550. It is down 3% today, but of course he's nicely up on the trade. DDOG. Oh, I remember this one. Datadog. Frank bought a half a position yesterday at 104.13. It's 103.44, so it is down a little bit on the day, down a little on the trade. Philip Morris. Quad bought Philip Morris at 81.83. It's 81.36, so he's down about 50 cents. It's down on the day, and he's down about 50 cents on the trade. And Netflix. Jatin bought Netflix at yesterday at 574, it's 579.50. So he's up about $5 on the trade. So all in all, very, 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 very nice, everyone. Johnson says, thank you, Greg, for explaining the AKMA short. Yeah, it did kind of what I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to have some follow through the next day and then get bought up. Although I thought it would go a little bit lower, but hopefully that 5-minute example that I showed you with the lower high, that's where you can get a long leg down. You know, when I go long, I like to buy higher lows for the same reason. You can get long up legs. But buying a lower low usually just leads to a bounce. Shorting a higher high, it can go down, but it usually leads to a bounce back up. The lower high is the better one. Gary says, Greg, NIO, okay, so you still have those. And you, let's see, 58.50, and it's 58.42. Okay, so, oh, calls. All right. So we need it to go up a little bit, right? Let's see what's happening here. Apple getting very, very close to my third profit target. That would be outstanding. That would be outstanding for sure. By the way, I am going to go ahead and get rid of Apple today. We've had 2 big, strong bars up. A lot of times after 2 big, strong bars up, you go sideways. Who knows? In this market, anything could happen. But I'm very happy with the 3.65% move on this today. And like I said, I just want to go and look for a better risk to reward. All right. Oops. So listen, before we start looking for a proper end of day trades today, I just want to talk a little bit about good trading words of wisdom, trader psychology, or a mix of both. You know, I like to go through Facebook and Twitter each day, and there's some really good posters out there that have channels that post really good and useful information. And one of them that I like very much is Larry Tantarelli from Blue Chip Daily. He's on Twitter at LMT978. Larry's very famous. I think he has a selection service, but he's a very well-known trader, and I really like to read whatever he writes. Let's take a look and see what he says. This one kind of stuck out to me because I have been a poker player most of my life. So when I read this, I was like, oh yeah, he is spot on. There's a lot of correlation between poker and trading, if you didn't know that. The best results usually come from taking the best technical signals setups that fit your process, but they might not show up every day. Wait for the right signal, which can be difficult for many, is often the most profitable thing to do. And down here it says you don't play every hand in poker. You'll go broke eventually if you play every hand in poker. And it's true. You know, when I played poker serious, the key is your starting hand, waiting for a category 1 hand. In trading, it's waiting for a confluence or a combination of signals, waiting for a good starting hand with trading, waiting for a good starting hand with poker. We don't have to take, excuse me, everybody, sorry. We don't have to take trades every day, right? The best results usually come taking the best technical setups that fit your process, but they may not show up every day. Waiting for the right signal, which can be difficult for many, is often the most profitable thing to do. And waiting and not taking a trade every day is a very difficult thing for traders to do as well. All right, so poker, trading, it all starts with the best hand. And if you played every single hand that you got in poker, you would eventually lose. 100%, because the odds. And if you take every single trade that comes along, just random trades, you would lose as well, right? So thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. Again, check out Larry, Blue Chip Daily at LMT978 over on Twitter. And this was helpful for me. A good reminder, Larry. Thank you. And I hope it's helpful for everyone in the group today. Whew, I'm not feeling so hot tamale. Gary says, no, right where they are would be great. And Monday I'll sell at the money calls for next Friday. No, right where they are would be great. And I'll sell at the money calls. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. You got a plan. That's what's important. So Gary says, I have been able to get between 3 and 6% on these weekly ATM calls. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. All right. Before we start looking at new trades, just want to go over current positions. So close to that third profit target. About 9 cents away. So if we get there, we'll hear the bell. That would be fantastic. Ooh, look at NVIDIA racing on up here. 3.26%. Very nice, Steve. So again, great trade. I'm glad I took this trade on Apple, but I am going to get out of Apple today. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know. But I'm happy with that kind of big move up here. And also I'm factoring in what the RSI is and where we're at with ATR channels on the indexes, which are pretty stretched over extended levels. So that's my thinking. I'm kind of overriding my normal process there. So, but Apple would be very kind of you if you would hit my third profit target. That would be a cherry on top. Coca-Cola doing great for Coca-Cola. Got so close to my profit target, but still profitable on the trades. Fine. SPY, of course, a little overnight SPY gain, which I'm glad buying that at the end of the day. Hey, there's Apple. There's Apple. Perfecto. Perfecto. Verizon, hovering right about break even, but is holding above my stop, which is a close below the 200-day moving average, and glad to see it did go positive on the day. Facebook running like crazy, so that's great. And then VIX a little bit down today. All right. That all looks pretty good. Boy, sorry everybody. I am not feeling so great, so bear with me. All right. Let's take a look at some potential end of day trades here. Pfizer. Yeah, I've been waiting for Pfizer this whole time. As you recall, I've been waiting for Pfizer to come back down, test the 200-day moving average. I feel better about this trade if we had a double bottom with the bullish divergence. It may look like one. There's a lot less red here than here, but there's no green in the middle, and that is a requirement for a double bottom and a bullish divergence. Be nice if it triggered a V2 as well, a V1 as well. I like that it's closed back over into the value zone. So this one is to be determined whether or not I'm actually going to take this one or not. Cody. Well, the infamous Cody, higher low V2. Let's see, here's the close, $6.90 on the day one bar. So there we go. We certainly washed out. So here's bar 1, 2, and 3. 2 washed out 1. 3 now needs to close above bar 1's close, 690. Currently at 689, so we'll have to wait on that one to see. Anthem. Well, we came down, we made a lower high. Johnson, see the lower high? If I ever make a lower high in the value zone, I want to wash out that first low before I can get into a V2. Well, this bar washed it out, but now it would still have to close above bar 1's close here, and this close is 323.69. So in order for me to even possibly think about taking that trade, it would have to close above 323.69. Okay. I have a feeling the bid-ask spread's kind of big on that. Let me check. ANTM. Yeah, it's 14 cents. Always be aware on stocks that aren't big monster stocks are usually going to have some kind of spread. And, you know, there's a 14, there's 11 spread now, but you're going to pay 10% if you just hit the market. So, you know, take some time to think about that. And if you're getting into those illiquid stocks, try to get into the mid. Ideally, get the bid if you can, but it's a little dangerous just to hit the buy button on the market because you're going to, you know, you're already down 10 cents on the trade before you even get started. MongoDB, I remember this trade. I think we traded it a few times, right? Come on. It's okay. I mean, it's a little ski-wampus here. It's not like a really nice return to value. Then we made a lower high. We haven't washed out this low, so technically I can't buy that because here is the lower high. Sorry. Yeah, this is the lower high. From here, we'd have to wash out here, but now we have a lower high here, which would have to wash out here. So I'm not interested in MDB. INFM, a lot of sideways motion there. That one's probably going to move. Unfortunately, we just don't know what direction, so I don't see anything there. EDU, big day. It has earnings tomorrow. Big bullish engulfing bar. This is very bullish. However, it's chasey, meaning the risk to reward's not that great. You know, the way that I look at this chart is, you know, I would look at this previous high as likely resistance. So we have this distance. Where would my stop be? Well, probably here, halfway. So there's less reward to the upside than where my stop is. So it doesn't make sense. And there's earnings tomorrow as well. So I'm not going to get in front of earnings. LOPE, okay, well, it's a close under, close back over the 200-day moving average, which is good, and the 50-day moving average. Weekly is a nice pullback into value. It's a pretty good setup, but two things. One, I don't know how LOPE backtests under over the 200, and more importantly, it only has 186,000 shares traded, so not enough shares for me to buy. MKC, McCormick, down on an up day. Let's look at the month, the weekly. One second. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's a false breakout to the downside. It's a rejection of the 200. It'd be nice if we closed in the value zone, but I think I'm going to pass. XLNX. I don't really see anything clearly there either. DXCM 520 crossover. Kamal, I don't know if you have the ability to check the crossover, 520 crossover on DXCM. It does have that, but I don't know if that back tests well. AMT 520 crossover there as well. We have that big strong 50-day moving average above it, downward sloping. I don't like that. Costco, I just don't see a trade here, to be honest with you. Bitcoin, hey, listen, all you Bitcoiners out there, this is the first time I've seen any place that I would be interested in buying Bitcoin. See the big move up? What do we know about big moves up? They always come back to value eventually. So if you bought up here, overextended. You'd be this, in my opinion, overvalued. But Bitcoin has finally come into the value zone. Now, my students know this is not enough for me to buy. It has to come into the value zone. We have to have some sideways motion, and then we have to have a V1 or a V2 to trigger us into the trade. But as a big picture, I sure would rather be buying in the value zone Bitcoin here than chasing it up here. So I don't know if any of you trade Bitcoin or have Bitcoin, but this has been a significant move down. My gosh, almost 25% from the high. But you know, this would be a more desirable place if you wanted to buy Bitcoin here. But again, I would wait for it to move sideways. I'd wait for a V1 or a V2 trigger so it gives you a clean trade and a definite and defined stop. LMT, you know, nothing here today, but if I could get a V1 or a V2, it would be a nice higher low V1 than down here, and MACD is green, which I like, but earnings are coming up, so I don't know if there's going to be enough time. But regardless, there is no trade there. Pfizer, oh, I already looked at Pfizer, and that's a potential. SPLK, I don't really see anything there. VIRT, I don't see anything there. It's having a tough time with this big down bar right at 50% right here. And SINA, it's really nice, big, strong bar. But again, the risk to reward doesn't make sense. Hey, give me 1 sec, everybody. I've got to go blow my nose and get a drink of water so I can make it through the last 13 minutes here. Hang tight. Okay, thanks for holding on, everybody. Appreciate that. So, you know, I kind of like Pfizer the best, to be honest with you. Cody is not high enough to trigger that V2. Anthem is not high enough to trigger that V1. So I like Pfizer. That's what I'm going to go with today. Apple is making a new high on the day. I am going to sell this. Coca-Cola, fine. Buying SPY. Kamal says DXCM 569% return. Oh, so DXCM does look pretty good on the 520. Well, there you go, everybody. So Kamal did the back test. It does back test well. Oh, and Steve did as well. Thank you, Steve. Quad says, Greg, is there a Bitcoin stock in the same way silver has? Yeah, GBTC. It's that grayscale. The grayscale, G is in Greg, B is in boy, T is in Tom, C is in chocolate. Yeah, you can buy Bitcoin that way as well. But remember, that's volatile. Steve says GBTC. Yep, there you go. Kamal says, my crossover numbers are since 1.1. Oh, okay. Many brokers will not allow it to be traded due to up regulation. Steve says, mine go back to 2005. Steve says, wow, NVDA still going. Let's check it out. Holy smokes, Steve. That thing is taking off like a rocket ship, bud. Very nice. Up 4.32%. Excellent. Dan says, no minimum amount to buy Bitcoin on exchanges like CoinDesk. Okay. Should we look at Bitcoin chart one more time? Yeah, right there in the value zone. Looks like it rejected the 50 RSI. Let's take a look-see. Yes, it did. And did it reject the previous low? Yes, it did. So, not enough for me to buy. If you wanted to be aggressive, okay. But I'd rather have a V1 or V2 trigger to get me in. But it did reject the 50 RSI, did wash out this previous low, and it's 25% lower than when it was at the high. So that's good, right? Dan says the taxes have discouraged me. Oh, interesting. All right, so I'm going to put I'm going to put Pfizer right here. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get out of Apple. Right here. I guess I'll wait a few minutes. Famous last words, right? But I like to try to stick till the end of the day. I'm just trying to get some things out of the way so I'm not so stressed at the end there. All right, so we'll just chill for a minute. That feels good to me. Dan says another way to get Bitcoin exposure is MSTR MicroStrategy. Oh yeah, that's a company that owns a lot of Bitcoin, right, Dan? If I'm correct. Way to go, Steve, on NVIDIA. Man, I was going to take that yesterday, but the 5 didn't close over the 20, and Steve went from the 1030, which held. So that's what precluded me from getting in. I was only going to take a half position, but still, that is fantastic. Did we test that previous high over there? We did. We tested this previous high over here at 558.44. All right. So again, I am getting out of Apple. I am keeping Coca-Cola. I'm buying overnight SPY trade. Verizon finally went positive. Grateful for that. Keeping that. Alibaba are just puts. Facebook, Johnson, Yas, Timothy, Pat, and Jatin are still in, and I'm still in with the puts that I sold. And then VIX looks like it might close below that previous range there. It's holding barely. Okay, so Steve did exit NVIDIA for a 3.61% gain from entry on this rally. 1 day, pretty good. Very impressive, Steve. Nice, bud. Nice. And I imagine Steve's thinking was, I don't know for sure, but I just mentioned this, that we had this previous high here and we did reject this high. I don't know if that was Steve's thinking, or if it was just such a big up day, rejected the second ATR channel. This is bullish on increased volume, but maybe like me, Steve is just looking for something with a little better risk to reward ratio at this point. Where would stop loss be on Pfizer? Close below the 200-day for me, Johnson. Johnson says, a guy on my Twitter said hearing INTC released earnings early, that may have triggered NVIDIA today. Oh. Did it? Wow, look at Intel, everybody. Holy smokes. Yeah, that's probably exactly what it was in the chip sector. Wow. Sneaky. They released it early. Sneaky, sneaky. All right. Okay, we have about 4 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and lock in my Apple trade. Guess I should have done that a few minutes ago, but it's okay. All right, so all I have left here to do is buy Pfizer. See that it caught a little bit. And I am done. Done and done. So it looks like Pfizer is making a high on the day, which is good. Let's do this. Way to go, Steve, man. That's so awesome on NVIDIA. Steve says, yes, you are correct. Rally in the range, time to lock in profits in this market where it is there. Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's why I unloaded Apple as well. Who knows? It could go up tomorrow. I hope it does for all you that, but you know, one day 3.5% is good. And I just like to look for a little better risk to reward. We have about 45 seconds. Oh, I forgot one thing to do. Okay. There we have it. There we have it. All right, let's see where I got filled here today. SPY, I got filled at 384.24. Pfizer, I got filled at 36.55. And that's it. And that's it. So I did get rid of Apple. So I'm going to put that over here. And then I did buy Pfizer, so I bought Pfizer at I'll make this, no, I'll tell you what, I'll make this one blue for yes. And then I will make this one green for me. Where did I get Phil? 36.55. Rejection of the range, bounce at the 200, almost out of V1. All right, and then SPY I got filled at 384. $24. 384.24. Okay, done and done. So listen, if you have any new additions or subtractions to the board today, this is the time. Go ahead, put it in the live stream and I will get them all updated. Just real quick, just want to remind everybody that I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I have a 15-hour course, 5 hours each, 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours for the total of 15. If you take the course, I know you're going to be a better trader. I basically teach 5 different approaches to trading, 5 different strategies. Everything I've learned over my experience in the last 25 years, everything I've learned from all my teachers and mentors over the years. So if you are interested in taking the course, I know you're going to be a better trader when you're done. I can almost promise you that. I see it all the time with my students. So if you're interested, reach out to me. You can send me a message on Twitter, or you can send me an email, and the email's in the description of this video. And if you do reach out, I'll reply, say thanks for saying hi. Let's set up a Skype call. Just a Skype call so I can ask you some questions, get to know more about you and your trading and your goals and your challenges. And then it's a good time for you to ask me questions about the course. And when we're done with the call, you can think about it. And, if you decide that you want to schedule it with me, you can just email me back. All right. And real quick, I mentioned this. I know it sounds hokey. I'm not trying to be hokey. But for the last 2 years, this course has cost $1,000. But on February 16th, I'm going to increase the cost to $1,750 because I just have so many students and there's only so many hours in the day. So, if you book the course before February 16th, of course you get the $1,000. But if it's after, then it's going to be $1,750. So it's pretty good savings there. If you've been thinking about it. All right. And then if you like today's podcast, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It really does help out the channel a lot. It helps YouTube know that there's some valuable content here and, helps keep the channel going, helps keep the channel around. And so if you found something helpful before you check out of here, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that thumbs up button. All right. So let's go and see. So I know Steve is out of NVIDIA. Okay, nice going, Steve. Beautiful trade. Yas is AMD. $89.11. Oh, wow. Good for you. $89.11. For Yasser. Okay, nice going. Good start to that trade. Steve says big Amazon reversal after the news rallied. They are working with Biden on distribution. Let's take a look over at Amazon. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it was up much higher earlier. Kamal is out of Paycom for a game. Congratulations, bud. And Cody. I love Cody. Did it trigger? I guess technically it did. Technically it's supposed to be above it, but good luck on that, Kamal. I have a fondness for Cody ever since I poo-pooed it and it went up like 26%. Johnson says, out of AKAM. Okay, well, there was your first short. It turned out to be a little bit of a loser, which could be a blessing in disguise. To be honest with you, Johnson, it could be a blessing in disguise. If you would have made money on your first short position, you may have had a propensity to want to keep shorting. And, there's times and place to short, but it's a tough game. Shorting is. Okay. And then we also have Johnson in Pfizer. Pfizer's, if you remember, I've been talking about Pfizer for a long time. I'm like, when it gets down to that 200-day moving average, if it's a good setup, I'll take it. And I would suggest you do the same thing. Look through charts. Don't look just for charts that something's happening now, but look at something where you can look and go, there's nothing here now, but if it gets down to there, then it's kind of on your radar. Dr. Alexander Elder, whom I've studied with, told me one of his best students, if you went in her condo in New York City, she had charts up all over the wall. And basically they were charts, stock charts, and notes on everyone. If it comes down to here, then it will be a double bottom and a bullish divergence, whatever. Oh, look, there's a confluence of a 30 RSI and a 200-day moving average if it comes down to here. It's just there to remind you, how many times do we think about a stock? I've said it half a dozen times on this podcast. Ooh, that one looks good. Have to watch that. Then I forget what it is, right? So on Pfizer, this is what I was looking for, and it finally got there, so I bought it. Frank says, half a position on Pfizer. Hopefully it will be a shot in the arm. Ha ha. Dun-dun-dun. Good one. I like it. That's so good, Frank. Frank, 1/2 position. What was the other one you said the other day too? It was a pharmaceutical company and they're going to have something to fix that problem. It was funny too. Gary is out of Apple. Okay. Yeah, it sold off there at the end, didn't it? Very good, Gary. And in Pfizer. Okay. Dan, stopped overnight spy tray. How dare you? No, I'm kidding. Yeah. All right. So we got you off of there. Gary says, feel better. Hope you get some rest. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed as soon as I'm done with this podcast for sure. Thanks, Kamal. Appreciate it, buddy. Doing my breathing exercises also. Quad says, thumbs up. And if you are on the fence about training with Greg, do it. His course is thorough and worth every penny. Thank you, Quad. I appreciate that, bud. And it was really great teaching you. And from watching your trades and what you're doing, I definitely see that you're putting it to work, which I'm really glad to see that. It's very important to me that my students succeed. It really is, more than you probably even know. David says, Greg, hope you feel better. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Johan. Hey, Johan, I've been watching those videos on YouTube where they have the cameras in the cockpit. So you can see, everything they do on the radio. I guess you call it the radio. And how they do double auto check. And every time I do it, I think of you because I watched one on a 777. And I was like, hey, that's the one Johan flies. So pretty cool, man. I know why you're a good trader. Kamal and I discussed this. Because as a pilot, as a professional pilot like yourself, you have all these protocols right? Before you take off, pre-flight, all that kind of stuff. And I think Johan is bringing his protocols from being a pilot into trading. At least that's what I see. So anyway, I was watching that. I was like, I have to remind Johan, how many dials do you have to deal with? I don't know how you can keep them all straight. Yas says, ugly hammer on Amazon. Johan says, get well soon, Greg. Thanks, bud. Frank says, chicken soup for Greg. 100%. So my girlfriend tested positive for COVID. So maybe that's what I have. I guess I'll have to go get tested. But yeah, I have not been feeling well the last few days. Luckily, trading's been good. There's nothing worse than being sick and have losing trades. My trades have been nice winners, so I'm happy for that. And so it makes being sick a little more tolerable. Yas says dividend on 128 for PFE holders. Hopefully this can give it a boost. Yeah, sometimes stocks get a little bit of buying pressure before their dividend comes out. But again, everybody, just because you buy a stock before the dividend, it's not like it's free money, right? I mean, here's Pfizer. They pay 39 cents per share dividend. That's good. So, if you buy it the day before the dividend, you'll get the 39 cents, but the next day the price will be reduced generally exactly by the same amount. So it's not, there's no free lunch in trading. There's no free money, right? But I think sometimes people just say, oh yeah, I can just buy dividends right before I get the dividend in a hurry and sell the stock. It doesn't work that way. Quad says, get well soon. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Yas says, anything can happen, but in my experience, if a stock has been slowly drifting down, an approaching dividend could help. Ah, interesting. And that's a really good point, Yas. There's a big difference in a stock slowly drifting down to a stock that just kaboom goes down. I always talk about those as skyscraper bars. That's different. This was a kaboom bar right here, right? But this has been just kind of, this is what Larry Williams taught me, as a matter of fact. When you have moves that are down, that are slow and gradual, those tend to bounce. But if you get big, I don't know, like Alibaba, maybe that's not the best example because it did go rallying right back up. But this kind of stuff is not good. I mean, this is rallied, so it's a bad example, but slow, small, gradual moves down, in my opinion, from what Larry taught me, those tend to bounce a lot better than just a big, super big down bar. Those tend to bounce a little bit and then continue back down. So that's a really good point. Yes, thanks for that. Johan says, it's a hell of a view from that office, Greg. Oh man, I can imagine. I kind of always wanted to be a pilot. Out of high school, I got accepted to the Air Force Academy. And that's what I thought I wanted to do, was go be a pilot. So I've always had a real interest in flying. I've never flown. But yeah, I imagine that's a great view. Congratulations, Johan. That's a really great occupation. Dan says, Greg, early on, China reported people that were on over-the-counter. Fathom I did better than those. I don't know what that is. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Intel sympathy play. How does AMD look to you? Let's see. Yas took AMD. I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I mean, I'm glad Yas bought it where he did. Good risk to reward ratio. We did have a V1 yesterday. See, we have a high, and then we have a higher high, and it reverses. That's a V1 to the downside. However, if you can get a V1 to the downside that immediately reverses, that is a very bullish sign. It makes the bearish setup into a bullish setup. That being said, would I buy it here? I'm glad Yas bought it where he bought it because the risk to reward's a whole lot better. But I would probably, if it were me, I would probably wait for a crossover just to have a little better confirmation, because the 520 crossover does back test well on AMD. I believe, don't hold me to that, but from it, I just in the back of my mind, I think I've tested that several times. If it, I wouldn't buy here, honestly. We came from a lower low. We've rallied. A lot of times those rallies are going to pull back. I would wait for a higher low, just like I was telling Johnson. I don't like to buy lower lows because they tend to bounce and then fail. I would rather see the lower low bounce, fail, come back down, and then have a higher low V1. That could help with a nice, easier, extended next leg up. But yeah, I wouldn't buy it here. I'd wait for a higher low V1, or I'd wait for a 520 crossover. Hope that helps, Ryan, excuse me. Dan says, better than those not on it. Sleeping on stomach, also good. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, says, I did not know about Intel's earnings, though, when I bought AMD. Well, good. Well, that's what gave it a shot in the arm. Looks like. Good for you and Steve on those trades. Tesla down a little bit today. All right, let's see what's happening after hours. Alibaba down. Dow Jones down. Facebook up 18 cents. Man, Bitcoin was down 9.66% today. At least GBTC was. IWM was down today, 0.87%. Coca-Cola up 5 cents. Excellent. Pfizer down a penny. Q's up. They're always up. SPY down a bit. VIX up 4 cents. And Verizon even. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped, right? Yeah, I just don't think I'd stick my toe in on AMD. I want it to go up for yes, I do, but as far as a good, clean setup, back-tested setup, a really good, risk to reward ratio, I think there's better. And just like I was talking about the poker analogy, don't play every hand, everybody. My gosh, if somebody came to me and said, yeah, I take one trade a week maximum, it has to fit, it has to be a AAA rated trade, I'd be good for you. Good for you. With my trading, I could approach it that way, but very rare that you get triple rated A trades, and double A's, B pluses. In my experience, there's still an edge in those small in those trades that justify taking them. Right? So that's why I don't wait for the best of the best of the best, because something that's pretty good and decent, in my opinion, still has an edge, and there's still money to be made. Jeannie Weaver, hello. Good to see you. What is your definition of a triple A trade? Oh, that's a good question. That's a term that I got from Dr. Alexander Elder when I studied with him. But a triple, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll show you on Facebook, Jeannie. This, at the beginning of the podcast, I always talk about confluences on multiple time frames being the best. And this was a AAA trade that we all took. Under the 30 RSI, over the 30 RSI, under the 200, over the 200, under the negative third channel, over the negative third ATR channel. On the weekly, the last week's bar held the negative 1 ATR channel, But 200-day dip buys, 250-day dip buys, under 30, over 30s by themselves are good, but when they're combined with each other, that just makes it that much stronger. If I had to only trade one thing, it would probably be like an Apple or an Amazon or a SPY or a Q, if I had a combination of those type of setups, like a confluence of under 30, over 30, under the 200, over the 200, under the negative third, over the negative third. That would be excellent. And if you threw in there a double bottom with a bullish divergence, that would even be better. But those type of trades do not come along very often. And if all you did was sit and wait for those, I think your winning percentage would be pretty high, but you would miss out on a lot of other type of trades throughout the year. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why I've studied with so many different mentors and authors and students like Steve Burns and Dr. Alexander Elder and Kerry Lavorne and Larry Williams. Everything I learned from each one of these gentlemen is great. But like double bottoms with bullish divergences, they don't happen all the time. They may happen once a year or twice a year. So, I remember when I got done studying with Dr. Elder, I went, this is great, but what am I going to do the rest of the year? And, that's why I went out to learn other approaches like moving average crossovers for trends, right? Return to values, higher low V1s, V2s, that kind of stuff. So, a AAA rated would be multiple indicators at very strong levels like the 200, 250, 30 RSI, and also the something lining up nicely on the weekly and even the monthly. Dr. Alexander Elder teaches what's called triple screen. He looks at 3 time frames: monthly, weekly, daily, or daily, hour, 10-minute, something like that, where he wants to see 3 time frames lining up. As a matter of fact, that's why I started studying with Dr. Elder, because in my own research, I did find that there were some interesting setups when 3 time frames lined up. But anyway, I hope that helps, Jeannie. And thanks for coming. Frank says, take that zinc and vitamin D3. Yeah, thank you, Frank. I took it. I've taken it like 3 times today already. Yep. Thanks though, Frank. Quad says, Frank, for sure, that and Zycam. Zycam? What is Zycam? I'm kidding. Everybody knows my story with Zycam. Gary says, look at ADTX. ADTX. Holy hamburgers. Man, that would be fun to be in one of those, wouldn't it? One guy short lost $75,000 today. Ouch. That is why it's so important to know your risk. Plus, I don't mess with these kind of stocks. Yeah, I don't either. Good example, though, what we always talk about, sideways motion leads to moves, either up or down. Jeannie says, thank you. What about stocks that haven't traded for 200 days yet, other than staying away? What would you use to take the position? Well, yeah, if they haven't traded for 200 days yet, you're not going to have a 200-day moving average. At that point, Jeannie, I would probably look for a return to value. You don't need 200 days for that to happen. I'd look for a return to value. Let me see if I can show you an example of a return to value. My brain's working slow. Okay, here's a trade. Here's a return to value trade, Jeannie, that a bunch of us took on Eli Lilly. See, the 2 green lines are the value zone. This is 1 standard deviation away from the mean. This is negative 1 standard deviation away from the mean. I like to wait for stocks to pull back into the value zone. See, I don't want to buy up here. So if you had a stock that didn't have 200 days yet, it could be up here in the high ATR channels, wait for it to come back into the value zone, sideways motion in a V1. And this is the trade we took. Worked out pretty good, right? And that's why I was just talking about Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin. I want to be very clear on that. But here's a really good example of a return to value on Bitcoin Genie. Here we are up at the 6th ATR channel and higher. I'm no way am I going to buy up here. I could say that here and it would have gone up, but it's fine. I need it to come back into the value zone. See how it finally came below this green line, above this green line, somewhere in here. So this is a return to value. So stocks that haven't had 200 days of movement, you could use something like a return to value or a crossover. But on a moving average crossover, you're still going to need a certain amount of days depending on what moving average you're using. Gene said, what about oxygenated water drinks? That sounds good. I could go for some of that. Jeannie said, in addition to Z, zinc, and Zycam. Yep. I was joking about Zycam before, but in case maybe you don't know, I started a chewing gum company back in the 90s, and we developed Zycam. So that's the kind of little joke there of why I said what's Zycam. But yeah, Zycam is good stuff. Lovis says, for Genie, Steve's 520 IPO strategy has been working well. Oh, that's right. So if you have an IPO, which doesn't have a lot of data, if you have enough data for a 520 crossover, that has been working well. Yep, good point. Thanks, Lova. Okay. Well, listen, I'm about spent, everybody. So please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today. Try to do something nice for a human. Try to do something nice for an animal. The human and the animal will appreciate it, and it will make you feel good as well. I promise you that. And if we all did that every day, the world would be a better place. So I'm going to go to bed. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe. And am I missing anything? I'm running on one cylinder now. I don't think I am. But good trading, everybody. Good, nice green day today. Very grateful for that. Always grateful whenever there's green. And so thanks for coming. Oh, and hit the thumbs up button if you like today's podcast. All right. Hopefully I'll be in better shape tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.